All right, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Richard Taylor, and I'm going to talk about a subject real quick that I've touched on before, but I haven't delved too deep into the subject until today. And the reasoning behind this is because it was a Facebook post that I seen by my brother Ted Bundy. And shout out to Ted Bundy. Apparently, he has a child that goes to Spring Creek Middle School. And this is the Facebook post that he put up. It was a screenshot of some texts that he apparently have gotten or received from Spring Creek Middle. And I'm going to read this to you. Spring Creek Middle, reminder. SCM buses 127, 151, 465, 518, and 520 will not run this afternoon. Yesterday, I think, which is Thursday, Spring Creek Middle, SCM buses 465 will not run Friday morning or afternoon. SCM bus 520 will not run Friday morning. 520 will run in the afternoon. Another text message. Spring Creek Middle, correction. Bus 520 will not run Friday morning or afternoon. So basically they're saying we're not coming at all. So Spring Creek Middle, SCM bus 151 will run Friday morning only. Bus 151 riders will need to be parent pick up Friday afternoon. Tomorrow will be Mr. Eddie's last day driving for Wayne County Public Schools. He has resigned to tend to personal matters. We will work with our remaining drivers to provide afternoon transportation for bus 151 riders next week. Now that is at Spring Creek Middle, which is, I think, one of the schools that receives the most attention. Now this is just yesterday, but all throughout this school year that it started in about August, September, parents have been reaching out to me, and I have been seeing and noticing Facebook posts regarding school buses not picking up children all over the county. A young lady reached out to me to mentor her young boys who stays in the Marmac area. Her sons goes to Brogden Elementary. And when I went to meet there the first day, and I was talking to the children about their grades and everything, and one of the kids said, or the mother said, well, they missed 10 days out of school already. I said, 10 days? What do you mean 10 days? What, they've been 6 years? She said, no, the buses don't come. The buses don't come in this neighborhood. They don't come here. And a lot of times they, if they're full, they won't even stop. And so I was astounded because that is the first time that I've ever heard of such thing in that magnitude. 10 days missed, and it wasn't even the end of September. So basically, the child had missed a third of the year within 30 days. A third of the available year within 30 days. 10 days missed. And so then I went and spoke with the other lady, because the other lady who was in her complex, she had knocked on the lady's door while I was there. They were discussing, and they were asking, hey, did your bus come today, or did your child get on the bus? And they were having a discussion. So I went and talked to the other lady, and she told me how she had called the school several times. She had almost cursed out the bus driver, which is understandable. And she just mentioned that some days she have to take the children in the neighborhood that be standing out waiting on the bus. When she takes her child to school, she has to take them too. So I'm like, what is going on? Then I talked to a couple of people, and they say, yeah, they either lack buses, lack room. Sometimes the buses don't be running. And then I, went to another neighborhood. This is out in what they call the jungle or courtyard. And once again, they tell me about texts that they received the night before saying the buses will not be running. And so here we have almost a pandemic or epidemic of children missing school because the school system has failed to provide either one, the availability of functioning and orderly running buses, which I've heard stories about the conditions of the buses that the children have to ride in, or they have failed to provide suitable compensation in order to keep bus drivers willing to do the job. Nevertheless, regardless of the reasoning why, this is a black eye to the Goldsboro City schools, because how are you expecting children, many of them who are already facing certain challenges, how do you expect children to succeed in school if they can't even get to school? Now, mind you, a lot of these kids, just like this text said, they need to be parent pickup. So a lot of these kids may have parents who don't even have a vehicle to be taken to and fro to school when the buses are not able to provide the available or the necessary transportation. Secondly, what about those children whose parents have to go to work earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon and are not available to take their children to school before they go to work? Or what about the parents who have other responsibilities and they need more than just a morning's notice that the buses are not going to run, or an evening notice that the buses are not going to run? We have a whole demographic of children who are suffering because of the inability of this school system to provide reliable and persistent and consistent transportation for the children to attend school. And one may wonder why our schools are failing. For one, the children are not able to even get to school to obtain the knowledge that they need to take these tests. And the sad part about it is, it seems that the current school board is the least bit concerned about these children who are unable to get to school. Let me tell you why. I went to the school board meeting at the beginning of the year. And the beginning of December this month. And I sat in there, and it was me and Miss Sylvia Barnes, two people at that school board meeting. And the school board had this guy standing up. Of course, he works for them. He was explaining the budget and the different things for the upcoming. He was approving the audit of the school system. He said the audit passed flying colors. But one thing that he did talk about was the buses. The buses, he said, well, compared to, other cities and other counties in our area with our same population, our bus system and our bus issue is not as bad as some others. We're right around, where everyone else is in their bus and transportation situation in regards to making sure children get to school. The guy also went on to mention that it was a 90% success rate or functioning rate or whatever terminology he used. Well, yeah, the buses that do go out, they're running at a 90% efficiency rate where they're getting all the children they need to get to school. So the buses that we do have, the drivers that we do have, they're doing a great job. So we're running at a 90% efficiency rate, right? That sounds good. The buses that they do have, right? And so and Superintendent Wickard was like, yeah, okay, that's great. Sounds like, but that is still not good, because if you only have 50% of the buses running on a constant basis, and you say, well, of that 50%, we're doing 90% of a good job that we're getting those to the school. That sounds good, but what about the other 50% that are not getting to school on a regular basis? And that's what the problem is sometimes with these school boards, because they focus on numbers and data and statistics. And if you know anything about number, data, and statistics, you can bring up any number of data, or you can bring up any number of categories to make it look like what you're doing is a good job. So that is the thing with numbers, and that is the thing that I think that is missing in the current school board administration. We have older people. Once again, my parents are older, so I have all due respect for the elders. But a lot of times they are comfortable with seeing those data. See, they don't get the calls like I do, or maybe they do, but they don't see, what each individual situation or each individual household goes through. I would trying to get their individual children to school, or even with the 20% reading proficiency, or the 20% math proficiency that we have in a lot of the schools, and they celebrate a 5% jump in those numbers, and they hand out awards for those numbers. That's still only 1 out of 4 children that can do math, or 1 out of 4 children that can read good. That's still not good enough. And I refuse to celebrate those individual numbers. And so that is why, a reason why that I have chosen to run for District 3 Board of Education for the 2024 election. Now, this is my first foray into, quote unquote, the political arena, but I don't even consider it that. I consider it, trying to get people to see what is needed, in the community, besides, the budgets and the landscaping of the schools and all of these things that a lot of times, the board touts and celebrates, and, the good things, the aesthetics, should I say. But, we have a lot of children that the school system is failing. I remember when I was in Goldsboro High School, Goldsboro Middle, North Drive, Dillard, I never heard of, not having a bus. I've never not went to school because the bus just didn't come. If I missed the bus, if the bus didn't come, either it was an accident, she had to take another route, or the bus driver was sick. And even then, they sent another bus. So I think that is unacceptable for the school board to just accept mediocrity. Just accept, okay, if everybody else in the county or in the state or around this eastern regions, they're doing terrible too. So let's just make sure we're doing just as terrible as they are. Where are the improvement? What is the strategy to get these children, a lot of them, once again, who are in low socioeconomic or familial situations where there's only one parent. So if there's only one parent, which a lot of households are these days, so if there's only one parent who has a choice to either go to work or make sure her children get to school and go to work and pay her bills, 9 times out of 10, or his bills, let me be fair, 9 times out of 10, they're going to probably make sure that, the bills are taken care of, and, the children will get to school as they can. It's sad that has to be the situation, but I feel that there is a grave injustice when it comes to, this current administration, and they're just lackluster response to that information. And as I see parents complain, I won't read what my brother said. My brother Ted Bundy said, "Mr. Eddie and the rest of the drivers too," and he kind of stuck up a middle finger. He said, "The kids don't never got no bus to ride. I'm this close to letting my little man drive to school, and I don't even think his son is able to drive." But that is the frustration of parents. This guy has gotten a text message, 4 or 5 text messages in 2 or 3 days, informing him of what buses are not going to run. And actually, the lady in Brogden says she doesn't even get a text. She just sends her kids out to the bus stop and just hope that they get to school today. But the fact that that young gentleman had missed 10 days, and it wasn't even September the 30th, and I don't know if school started after Labor Day or at the end of the office, but that's still a monstrosity of a statistic that these children have to face. So I can rant and rave about this, but I literally get a call, every week or two. If not about the bus, it's about some situation in these schools. And I don't know how many calls. I guess the council, not the council, but the board gets a lot of calls too. But I don't see any urgency, any concern, any dire need to address these issues, which I feel that that's the basic tenet of getting an education is getting there, going to school. How are they going to learn if they can't even get there? So that is just one issue that I wanted, and I wanted to talk about this a lot a long time ago, but I just didn't have the time. But today I feel that it is a time because just yesterday I filed for candidacy for the Board of Elections. So you're going to be seeing Richard Taylor for BOE District 3. And I think we will have a primary, if I'm not mistaken. 2 more candidates have filed for that seat. Very, I guess, formidable, reputable candidates. And, we just going to let the chips fall where they may. But, it was just something that was suggested to me because of, I guess my passion for the children. If you've been watching me for the last 2 or 3 years, you know my heart for the children and the things that I do for the children, especially in District 3, which is, somewhat what some would consider the inner city. And so I have definitely a special relationship with these children. And, each individual child has a specific need as it comes to education. Some of them are going through very traumatic situations. I had a child last year I was working with say, his mother was about to go to jail for about 5 months. This kid is 8 years old, 9 years old. He's sitting there. You can tell it's on his mind, but he got to go to school. And they wondering why he acting up. He don't know how long he going to have to stay with his auntie or his grandmama or which one he going to stay with. You understand what I'm saying? And people will take a kid like that because he's acting out, suspend him for 10 days, put him in ISS, put him in the alternative school, which kind of perpetuates that cycle, right? Without really addressing and getting to the heart of the problem that this kid is very bright. And the kid, he very bright. But he was just going through some things that even an adult shouldn't be going through. Like, I wouldn't know at this age what to do if my mama was going to jail. That would stress me out. Imagine if you were 8 years old. And a lot of times, once again, the individual needs of the child and the individual situations are not considered. It's just data. As I mentioned when, the alternative school numbers came out. How many children they sent to alternative school. That's just data. That's data. And not considering the circumstances that lead up to those actions. So that's what I want to consider. But I can ramble on and on about this. But I just wanted to address that. There has to be something done about the bus shortage or whatever it is, whatever the reason is. I think that, there should be a sense of urgency. But yeah, Richard Taylor for BOE, the Board of Education District 3, 2024. You can donate to the campaign starting today. You can call me at 919-587-7782. If you know any of the past fundraisers I've done, we've done everything through Cash App, but now because it is a campaign, I've set up a campaign account. I filed for the EIN number, so I cannot accept any donations that are over $50, except they be via the form of a check, cashier's check, or money order. So if you do want to donate, call me direct 919-587-7782, and I will, give you the proper channels that you need to do to get the donations to the proper persons. And I thank everybody who suggested this to me. It's something that was suggested to me, and I said, okay, well, I'll do it and see what happens. But I definitely will continue, whatever the case may be, to keep my eye on these school board situations, because I get various calls on a weekly basis about issues at each particular school. And of course, if you've seen the videos that I've done, I've been very critical of certain school board members and actually certain school board tactics. Even this tactic right here, just being totally indifferent to the inability of some children to get to school. So 919-587-7782 if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or any other issues that you may want to be addressed on this platform, please let me know. But I thank you in advance for the support. And remember, Richard Taylor, Board of Education, District 3, 2024. Peace and blessings.